So let me tell you about this wild story. It's not really about politics, and it's not even really about a person's health. It's about how the internet, our digital world, can literally create its own reality in just a matter of hours. It was this perfect storm of suspicion, social media, and honestly, our own brains. Let's get into how it all went down.
Right, so this is the big question we're tackling today. We are going to unpack, step by step, how a tiny whisper of speculation about Donald Trump's health turned into this massive online firestorm that had millions of people glued to their screens just trying to figure out what was real.
Every big fire starts with a tiny spark. And in this story, the spark wasn't just one thing. Oh no. It was a series of small, kind of weird signals that when you put them all together, looked incredibly suspicious to everyone watching online.
Okay, so check this out. You've got these little pieces that on their own might not mean much. First, the White House calls a press lid super early on a Saturday. That's reporter speak for the news day is over, which is odd. Then, boom, his trip to Mar-a-Lago gets canceled. He's not seen for the rest of the day. And then you see a post claiming the road to Walter Reed, the famous hospital for presidents, is blocked. Individually, whatever, but together, that's the kindling for a huge rumor.
And there it is. That's the match hitting the gasoline. A single tweet from an account with a massive following. Notice it doesn't say it's a fact. It uses the magic word speculation. But that's all it took. It scooped up all those little suspicious details, packaged them into one explosive idea, and sent it out to nearly 8 million people in a flash.
So once that idea was out there, it didn't just spread, it exploded. The speculation just took on a life of its own, moving way faster than any official source could even hope to keep up with. This is where you see the absolute chaos of the internet on full display.
And right away, you see the emotion kick in. For his critics, this wasn't just some news story. It was a reason to celebrate. Posts like this one, mixing this dark humor with genuine hope, they just went viral. It shows you that for a lot of people, the idea of the rumor being true was way more powerful than waiting for any proof. As the rumor catches fire, what do people do? They go looking for proof. And this is where things get really messy. A video starts circulating, and it looks like it shows roads closed around the hospital. Evidence, right? Well, no. The footage was from a completely different event, months earlier. But in the heat of the moment, context just gets thrown out the window. Old stuff gets repackaged as new proof.
All right, so naturally, the campaign has to say something, right? A spokesperson comes out and says, nope, he's fine, he's just working. But here's the thing about the internet in moments like this. For people who are already convinced something's wrong, a denial doesn't kill the rumor. It actually fuels it. They don't see it as a clarification. They see it as a cover-up.
So just when you think you've got this figured out, it's just another crazy internet rumor fizzling out, the story takes a hard left turn. The rumor gets this massive, and I mean completely unexpected boost of credibility from a source that nobody, and I mean nobody, saw coming.
I mean, just think about it for a second. What would it mean if someone who's a huge vocal supporter, not a critic, started talking like the rumors were true? It totally breaks your expectations. It makes even the biggest skeptics sit up and go, wait a minute, maybe there is something to this after all.
And that is exactly what happened. Alex Jones, probably one of Trump's most well-known supporters in the media, gets on his show and doesn't deny the health scare. He leans right into it. He's talking about heart failure, saying Trump looks sick, even saying he's gone. Hearing this from him was a genuine shock. It gave this whole rumor a bizarre, cross-political legitimacy that it just did not have before. And at this point, the whole thing stopped being about finding the truth. The rumor had become a symbol, right? A digital flag for people to wave in this never-ending online tribal war. The actual facts were now way less important than what the rumor represented to each side.
And you could just see the internet split right down the middle. On one side, you had critics who were openly hoping and crossing their fingers, sharing memes, pretty much celebrating the possibility. And on the other side, pure outrage. Supporters were furious, accusing people of lying for engagement and getting genuinely upset that the rumor was hurting their feelings. It just became this raw, emotional battlefield. So, what does this all actually mean? What's the takeaway from all this chaos? Well, when you pull back, you realize this entire event is just a perfect, real-time case study of how we all process information and misinformation in this day and age.
The engine driving this entire firestorm has a name. It's called confirmation bias.
And put simply, it just means that people on both sides saw what they wanted to see. Critics who already thought Trump was unwell found evidence to support that everywhere. Supporters who see him as a strong leader saw a coordinated attack. The truth of the rumor was almost irrelevant compared to how well it fit into what they already believed.
So you can actually break this down into a sort of recipe for a digital rumor. It almost always follows the same 5 steps. 1. You start with an ambiguous signal, like the press lid. 2. An influencer amplifies it. 3. Evidence, real or fake, starts popping up. 4. The political tribes grab onto it and make it their own. And finally, step 5, the line between reality and rumor just dissolves. And nobody knows what to believe anymore.
So ultimately, when you boil it all down, this whole saga was never really about one person's health. It was a powerful, real-time demonstration of digital hysteria, of political tribalism, and the psychology of misinformation. It was about us and how we all behave online. And that leaves us with a really important question to think about, doesn't it? In a world where our feeds are just filled with rumors and our tribal instincts are always pulling us to one side or the other, how do any of us figure out what's actually real anymore?